Greetings, welcome to Into the Text. Today is day 47 of our read-through of the Bible. We're going to be picking up at Matthew 27 and going through 56 through 66, finishing up the chapter, and then we're going to be reading Leviticus 19 and 20. All right? All right? All right? Got a little friend down here. Let me see if you can see him. Hey, Max. Hey, Max. Hi. 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 What's up? All right. Hi. Hey. All right. Now, back up here. All right. Let's see here. Let's grab our Bibles. Matthew 27, Jesus' burial, verse 57. Now when it was evening, there came a rich man from Arimathea named Joseph, who was a disciple of Jesus. He went to Pilate and asked for the body of Jesus. Then Pilate ordered it to be given to him. Joseph took the body, wrapped it in clean linen cloth, and placed it in his own new tomb that he had cut in the rock. Then he rolled a great stone across the entrance of the tomb and went away. Now Mary Magdalene and the other Mary were sitting there opposite the tomb, guarding the tomb. 60 through 62. The next day, which is the day after the preparation, the chief priests and the Pharisees assembled before Pilate and said, "Sir, remember what while the deceiver was still alive, he said, 'After 3 days I will rise again.' So give orders to secure the tomb until the third day. Otherwise the disciples may come and steal his body and say to the people, 'He has risen from the dead.' And the last deception will be worse than the first." Pilate said to them, "Take a guard of soldiers and go make it as secure as you can." So they went with the soldiers of the guard and made the tomb secure by sealing the stone. All right, tomorrow we're going to be finishing it up with the resurrection. Okay, let's jump over Leviticus 19 and 20. Religious and social regulations. The Lord spoke to Moses, "Speak to the whole congregation of the Israelites and tell them, 'You must be holy because I, the Lord your God, am holy. Each of you must respect his mother and his father, and you must keep my Sabbath. I am the Lord your God. Do not turn to idols, and you must not make for yourself gods of cast metal. I am the Lord your God.'" Eating other people's offerings. When you sacrifice a peace offering, sacrifice to the Lord, you must sacrifice it so that it is acceptable for you. It must be eaten on the day of your sacrifice and the following day, but what is left over until the third must be burned up. If, however, it is not eaten on the third day, it is spoiled. It will not be accepted. And the one who eats it will bear its punishment for iniquity because he has profaned what is holy to the Lord. That person will be cut off from his people. Leaving gleanings. When you gather your harvest of your land, you must not completely harvest the corner of your field, and you must not gather up the gleanings of your harvest. You must not pick your vineyard bare. You must not gather up the fallen grapes from your vineyard. You must leave them for the poor and resident foreigner. I am the Lord your God. Dealing honestly. You must not steal, you must not tell lies, you must not deal falsely with your fellow citizens. You must not swear falsely in my name so that you do not profane the name of your God. I am the Lord. You must not oppress your neighbor or commit robbery against your neighbor. You must not withhold the wages of a hired laborer overnight until morning. You must not curse a deaf person. You must not curse a deaf person or put a stumbling block in front of a blind person. You must fear your God. I am the Lord. Justice, love, and property. You must not deal unjustly in judgment. You must neither show partiality to the poor or honor the rich. You must judge your fellow citizen fairly. You must not go about slandering. You must You must not go about as a slanderer among your people. You must not stand idly by when your neighbor's life is at stake. I am the Lord your God. You must not hate your brother in your heart. You must surely reprove your fellow citizen, so that you do not incur on a sin. You must not hate your brother in your heart. You must surely reprove your fellow citizen, so that you do not incur sin on his account. You must not take vengeance or bear grudges against any of your people. But you must love your neighbor as yourself. I am the Lord. You must keep my statutes. You must keep my statutes. You must not follow two different foreign kinds. You must not allow two different foreign kinds of your animals to breed together. You must not sow in your field with two different kinds of seeds. You must not wear garments made of two different kinds of material. Lying with a slave woman. When a man goes to bed with a woman for intercourse, although she is a slave woman designated for another man and has not yet been ransomed, or freedom has not been granted to her, there will be an obligation to pay compensation. They must not be put to death, because she was not free. He must bring his guilt offering to the Lord at the entrance of the meeting tent, a guilt offering ram. And the priest is to make atonement for him with the ram of the guilt offering before the Lord for his sin he has committed. Then he will be forgiven of his sins he has committed. Produce of the fruit tree. When you enter the land and plant any fruit trees, you must consider its fruit to be forbidden. 3 years it will be forbidden to you. It must not be eaten. In its 4th year, all of its fruit will be holy, praise offering to the Lord. And then in the 5th year, you may eat its fruit to add its produce to your harvest. I am the Lord your God. Blood, hair, body, and prostitution. You must not eat anything with the blood still in it. You must not practice either divination or soothsaying. You must not round off the corners of your hair on your head or ruin the corners of your beard. You must not slash your body for the dead or incise a tattoo on yourself. I am the Lord. Do not profane your daughter by making her a prostitute, so that the land does not practice prostitution and become full of lewdness. Okay, so I had to look up the incise a tattoo. And I found out at that time it was a practice of, let me see what it says. You shall not make cuts on your body or tattoos, or so, essentially forbidding the practice as it was a link to pagan mourning rituals in ancient times. So pagans would cut themselves and create tattoos as mourning rituals for the dead. And God said, we're not doing that. Okay? So yeah, I had to look that one up. Sabbath, purity, honor, respect, and honesty. You must keep the Sabbath and fear my sanctuary. I am the Lord. Do not turn to the spirits of the dead, and do not seek familiar spirits to become unclean by them. I am the Lord your God. You must stand up in the presence of the aged, honor the presence of the elders, and fear your God. I am the Lord. When a resident foreigner lives with you in your land, you must not oppress him. The resident foreigner who lives with you must be to you as a native citizen among you. So you must love your foreigner as yourself, because I am with your foreigner in the land of Egypt, because you were a foreigner in the land of Egypt. I am the Lord your God. You must not do injustice to the regulations of measurements, whether length, width, or volume. You must not harvest. You must have honest balances, honest weights, an honest ephod, and an honest hin. I am the Lord your God, who brought you from the land of Egypt. You must surely obey all my statutes and regulations. I am the Lord. Prohibitions against illegitimate family worship. Chapter 20. The Lord spoke to Moses. You are to say to the Israelites, any man from the Israelites or of the resident foreigner who lives in Israel who gives any of his children to Molech must be put to death. The people of the land must pelt him with stones. I myself will set my face against that man and cut him off from the midst of his people, because he has given some of his children to Molech, and thereby defiled my sanctuary and profaned my holy name. If, however, the people of the land shut their eyes to that man when he gives some of his children to Molech, so that they do not put him to death, I myself will set my face against that man and his clan. I will cut I will cut off from the midst of the people both him and who follow him after his spiritual prostitution is committed, prostitution by worshiping Moloch. Prohibitions against spirits and mediums. The person who turns to spirits of the dead and familiar spirits to commit prostitution by going after them, I will set my face against that person and cut him off from the midst of his people. You must sanctify yourself and be holy because I am holy, your God. You must sanctify yourself and be holy because I am the Lord your God. You must be sure to obey my statutes. I am the Lord who sanctifies you. Family life and sexual prohibitions. This kind of goes back to Leviticus 18:6 through 23, kind of re-emphasizing it. If anyone curses his father or mother, he must be put to death. He has cursed his father or mother, his blood guilt is on himself. If a man commits adultery with his neighbor's wife, both the adulterer and the adulteress must be put to death. If a man goes to bed with his father's wife, he has exposed his father's nakedness. Both of them should be put to death. Their blood guilt is on themselves. If a man goes to bed with his daughter-in-law, both of them should be put to death. They have committed a perversion. Their blood guilt is on themselves. If a man goes to bed with a male, as one goes to bed with a woman, the two of them have committed an abomination. They will be put to death. Their blood guilt is on them. If a man has married relationships with both a woman and her mother, it is lewdness. Both he and they must be burned to death, so there is no lewdness in your midst. If a man has sexual relationship with any animal, he must be put to death, and you must kill the animal. If a woman approaches any animal and copulates with it, you must kill the woman, and the animal must be put to death. Their blood guilt is on them. If a man has marital relationship with his sister, whether daughter of his father or his mother, so that he sees her nakedness, he's seeing the nakedness in his. If a man has marital relationship with his sister, whether the daughter of his father or mother, so that he sees her nakedness and she sees his nakedness, it is a disgrace. They must be cut off in the sight of their culture and of their people. He has exposed his sister's nakedness. He will bear his punishment for iniquity. If a man goes to bed with a menstruating woman and uncovers her nakedness, he has laid bare her fountain of blood, and she has exposed the fountain of her blood. So both of them must be cut off from the midst of their people. You must not expose the nakedness of your mother's sister or your father's sister, for such a person has exposed his own close relatives. They must bear their punishment for iniquity. For if a man goes to bed with his aunt, he has exposed his uncle's nakedness. They must bear responsible for their sin. They must die childless. If a man has marital relationship with his brother's wife, it is indecency. He has exposed his brother's nakedness, and he will be childless. Exhortation to holiness and obedience. You must be sure to obey my statutes and regulations, so that the land which I am about to bring you takes up residence, it does not vomit you out. You must not walk in the statutes of the nations which I am about to drive out before you, because they have done all these things, and I am filled with disgust against them. So I have said to you, you yourselves will possess the land, and I myself will give it to you for a possession, a land flowing with milk and honey. I am the Lord your God, who has set you apart from the other peoples. Therefore you must distinguish yourself between the clean animals and the unclean, between the unclean bird and the clean. You must not make yourself detestable by means of animals or birds or anything that creeps on the ground, creatures that I have distinguished for you as unclean. You must be holy because I am holy. I am holy. You must be holy because I, the Lord, am holy. I have set you apart from other peoples to be mine. Prohibition against spirits and mediums. A man or woman who has in them a spirit of the dead or a familiar spirit must be put to death. They must pelt them with stones. Their blood guilt is on themselves. Okay. That was our day 47. Day 48, we're going to be finishing up Matthew 28, and then we're going to be reading Leviticus 21 and 22. All right. If you like these videos, please like and subscribe and comment down below. And until next time, let's dig into the text.
You can't be loser, set me free.